Hello and welcome to episode number 34 of Excel TV. How you doing, Sylvia?
I am doing great! Because it's always great to be here on Excel TV. That was my best, what's his name, imitation. Jordan, help me out. How you doing?
I'm great. I don't know who that's supposed to be, but I would say today...
Donald Saperstein. That's what I was trying to say.
That person, whoever they are. Is a real...
Fans.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'm feeling great. A real 9 out of 10 day. It's a good, solid 9. How about you, John A.? How are you?
9 out of 10, yeah. Great to be here. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not going to try and sing like Sylvia did. I'm not going to embarrass myself just yet.
I'm not sure that qualifies as singing, but thank you.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, John. Hello, everyone. This is Rick, rickgrantham.com, also at Excel.tv. Today is brought to you by the Excel TV headquarters here in Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. It's brought to you by that thing that helps you put the text in between your first and last name in Excel. And it's also brought to you by Atkins Milk Chocolate Delight Shake.
Mm.
When you're 3 weeks from vacation in Cancun and it's coming way too damn soon, Atkins Milk Chocolate Delight Shake. This wasn't Actually, I'm just kidding. It's 5 years.
Nice.
Good.
Jordan, the Excel challenge of the week.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna say, Rick, you did mix those two together, didn't you? You poured the beer and the milkshake in one. I mean, listen, I get it.
That way they let me pour the beer in here so they let me into the fair.
That's right. That's right. And also, Rick is selling his place. Does that ampersand convey? Does that come with it?
I'll take that with me. I'll take that in the spreadsheet.
Okay. Yeah, you can't take those Excel concatenation functions. So let's
I'm revoking my bid.
jump right to it. Okay. So I asked, what is the longest VBA command you can think up? I was hoping for a lot of variety here, but it seemed like everyone went out and just Googled the same answer, which is actually very long. Application.autoformat as you type replace hyperlink. So a lot of people sent that in fact, the vast majority of them. So I was hoping to get some variation, but instead I had to pick randomly from all the people who sent that in. And our winner is Hamilton Rosario. I will reach out to you over Facebook Messenger to let you know that you've won, and you have your choice of my book, and I think Bill Gellin's book, Bill Jellin and Sylvia's book, the new Great Excel 40th book, and Oz's new book. So we'll reach out and let you know. So this next question is, how many people use Excel? And here's the thing. If you know the answer, you can let us know on Excel TV, or you can tweet us at Excel TV, or go to Facebook.com and post it in our forum. But I don't actually know the answer to that. So
at least 5.
Yeah, so that's news to me. That is news to me. I don't know, so I'm gonna have to look that up. But hopefully, we'll get a lot of good answers, a lot of interesting answers. This includes all versions of Excel. So if someone's still using Excel 2003, that is included. It's hard to speak to those people. But yes, thank you for joining on the challenges. Back to you, Rick.
Random 2003 people.
Yeah.
I mean, step up. Really, seriously. Yeah, step up.
I know. What are they doing? I mean, that's so amateur. It's really.
You got to feel for them, though. They might be stuck there. You know, they might not have a choice.
So speaking of not having a choice, John Campora didn't have a choice. We dragged him back onto the show. Every 20 episodes, we bring him back. He doesn't have a choice, so he's got to keep bringing them in. So episode number 14, he was on our show, and we also brought him back now for episode number 34. Once a year, he seems to have something really, really cool going on. Hey, John, outside of that new flashy haircut you got going on and the flashy blue shirt, what's going on with VBA Pro Course? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me back on. It's great. I don't know if I look 20 episodes older, but I definitely feel it.
You wear it well. You wear it well.
I actually noticed last time I was on, I think I had like the the enhanced version of myself on there, which makes you look about 10 years younger. So
Love that one.
yeah, it's nice. It's a nice feature.
I mean,
I didn't do it this time, just for the effect. But yeah, so anyways, I just launched the VBA Pro course, and it's going really well. It'll take you from a complete beginner to a VBA Pro. At least that's my claim, and I think it will. I think it does a good job of that. But yeah, I just launched it in July, and it's going really well. Got a lot of students in there, and they're loving it so far, and learning a lot about VBA. One of my favorite topics.
It's also Jordan's topic. What's up, Jordan? What do you think about that? Launching a new VBA course.
I think it's awesome. I think it's great. So is this kind of on your own learning, or is it guided? Tell our audience how one learns VBA with you.
Yeah, so it's definitely, I mean, it's based on a lot of my own experience with VBA, and I developed it based on like trying to use real-world scenarios and applications where you actually use at your job, versus just talking about theory and kind of conceptual stuff. We actually go through different practices. We even build out an add-in, a complete add-in file, which kind of replicates a simpler version of my TabHound add-in. So we go through the complete process to build it out, just starting from all the way from scratch, creating the add-in file, all the way to putting buttons on the ribbon and everything like that. And then we also built some spreadsheet, what I call spreadsheet-based applications, which more like use tables and use the spreadsheet more as an interface versus user forms. So, but I have more of a financial analyst kind of accounting background, so a lot of it is going to be based more in that experience and automating processes in that kind of world, those kinds of tasks that you might do every day, like budgeting, forecasting, reporting, just general data cleansing and analysis and that kind of stuff.
So do you start then in the courses? I remember we had a show, gosh, a while back where there was a difference of opinion between I think Jordan and Bill Jella maybe even on, do you record a macro and start with the macro and then from there alter your VBA code, or do you just script everything out from the beginning? What path do you follow in your training?
That's a really good question. So no, I don't start with the macro recorder, although I think it's a very important tool. I don't start there because I think it's even more important to kind of understand what you're doing with that code that the macro recorder produces. So the macro recorder is, producing VBA code, obviously, and then you tend to interpret maybe half of what is spit out of it, and a lot of it's not even usable. It tracks your mouse movements, your cell clicks, all that kind of stuff, which you don't even need. So I kind of start from square one and really explain the object model, how that all works, and how you actually reference common objects like workbooks, worksheets, cells, all that kind of stuff. And so we actually start by writing macros. And in the first module of the course, we do talk about the macro recorder, because it's hugely important. Like, there's no doubt that you're going to probably get started doing VBA with the macro recorder, and at least that's how I did it. And so that's definitely an important piece of it, but I think you can also kind of get stuck there sometimes too. So you don't want to dwell on it too much, because although it's great for producing little snippets of code, it's not going to take you to full automation. So I still use it all the time to learn, like, whatever that method was that you just showed, the application method that I've never seen before. The object model is massive, and you can never learn all of it, I don't think. But it helps to understand how it works and get an idea of where you can find those objects and those properties and methods, and then use those to your advantage, to build out applications and even just simple macros, automating simple processes. So, okay.
Jordan, I know that you're in VBA quite a bit, and certainly you have to do quite a bit of training, I believe, as well. What are the challenges that you've seen with showing people VBA or teaching them for the first time?
Ooh, the main challenge I see, and John could when he comes back, he can tell me what he thinks. But the biggest challenge I see is that a lot of people don't really know why they're doing things. So they're told to write this code, but it doesn't make any sense in their head. And they say, well, what's the end product? What does the end product look like? So one way I try to deal with this challenge is I try to show them what the final results is going to be at first, and then back into the different elements with the code. So that's really one of the main challenges I see. What about you, Sylvia? Because you do VBA.
Yeah, I do VBA. Well, there's different challenges. There's I guess on the teaching side, it's a lot of people who learn VBA are not only new to VBA, but just the entire concept of computer programming is totally foreign to them. So there's a bit of a learning curve there. But it's also, you know, one that I continue to a challenge I continue to face myself is sometimes old habits die hard, and you figured out this awesome macro and you're so proud of yourself, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, I didn't really need to do that. That was way overcomplicated, you know. So just, you know, finding the right balance in that type of thing. So there's many challenges, I would say, but I also started with the recorder and kind of moved into figuring out the object model later on, because as I explain in my book, did I mention I have a book? As I explained in my book, it's very hard to really get engaged in the topic until, at least for me, until you can kind of tinker around, you know. So the recorder is a nice way to it's kind of like the gateway drug into writing full-on code from scratch. So.
Okay, so we do have some questions from some of your fans and some of your fellow bloggers out there who have some questions. They found out you're going to be on the show, and they're like, I got to ask that guy a question. Are you up for it?
All right.
Question number one comes from Chris Macro. He was on our last episode, Mr. TheSpreadsheetGuru.com. And how you doing, Chris? Question number one from Chris Macro. Mr. Chris Newman, you have made a lot of creative Excel add-ins and tools over the years. Where do you get your inspiration?
That's a good question. I think from daily problems, really. It's all of my add-ins have come from just trying to find a solution that Excel doesn't have built into it, and a lot of it is. And one reason I love VBA and teach VBA is because it allows you to get away from doing the same boring, repetitive task over and over again. So my add-ins are probably kind of just an extension of that. Things like the TabHound add-ins, it was really just based on the ability to search for a worksheet and jump right to it. You know, just be able to type the name of the worksheet you're looking for and get there without having to navigate through a sea of spreadsheets or tabs in a workbook. Same with the PivotPal add-in, same thing. You just, like, if you have a field or a pivot table with 30 fields, it takes you forever to find that field in the field list, and there's really no search, depending on what version of Excel you're using, there's really no search feature there. So that add-in was all based on just the ability to search for a field by typing, just like you would in Google or Bing, and being able to search the name of that field and jump right to it and then add it to your pivot table. So I think a lot of the inspiration just comes from banging your head on the table doing the same thing over and over again every day.
So they say all great entrepreneurs, whenever they're looking to create a product, they listen for a few key words. They listen for the words, I hate it when. And whatever comes next is the product you create. All right?
Yes.
So it sounds like that's what you're saying, you know, whatever, I hate it when, and okay, that's what I built.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, a lot of those have just been my own I hate it whens. You know, I do try and take into account what other people are posting on the blog or leaving comments with their own challenges. When you sign up for my newsletter, I send you an email just asking you what kind of challenges you're facing with Excel. And that's one reason I created the VBA Pro Course, is because not everybody, but a lot of people are interested in learning VBA, but don't really know where to start, you know, and so that's just, so they're probably frustrated with that. that task as well as doing the same boring report over and over again and wanting a faster way. And obviously VBA is one way to get there. So yeah, definitely.
Well, I have 2 more questions for you then. Next one is from Ryan Wilson. I believe Ryan Wilson might be the guy we met out in California. Not sure.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
California.
Hi, Ryan.
California. So anyway, Mr. Ryan Wilson asks,
All right.
what is the one thing that you've learned in your later years of VBA programming that you really wished you would have known when you first started using VBA?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I haven't had a lot of time to think about that one. I did leave a comment below with the first being the object model. Again, I probably default back to that, but that's one thing where I honestly didn't have a good idea of what I was doing in VBA for a long time. You know, I mean, you could use the macro recorder and you can search online to find the solution you're looking for and kind of piece it all together. And that was really my first experience with VBA. And I wish I'd kind of had a better understanding of how the object model works and how you can find the objects and also properties and methods within the object model and how that's all connected. I think that took me a while to figure out. That's definitely one major area. And then the other thing I said was loops, because loops are another huge. And they save so much time in VBA when you learn or write your first loop and understand how that works and how you can just loop through a process. Because a lot of what we do in Excel is just the same thing over and over again, whether it's copy and paste or adding the same field to a pivot table or filtering a table the same way. Those are things we do a lot over and over again. So when you can write a loop to handle all that in like less than a second, it changes how you approach Excel, and also lets you sleep a little easier at night. So.
Speaking of sleeping easy, Jordan?
Yeah, so I have something that I want to add on that because this is a good question, and it just came to me. The thing that later on, and it's not even really a VBA thing. It's when you're typing in, let's say you're doing an if, and you type in then, and then you're not really sure what you want to do, so you click to another line, and then the design time error just pops up and says, hey, you need to complete this, and how annoying that is. And you can flip that off. You can flip it off, that pop-up, and for years, just bang my head like, I know it's an error. But yeah, you can flip it off under the tools and the auto syntax check. I think that was a game changer for my personality. I became happier. I wasn't so grumpy all the time. Really, things just got better after that.
Started shaving your neck and everything.
That's right.
Yeah, and speaking of Jordan being grumpy, there's another question I have to ask Jon Campora here, because as we all know, so VBA's been around for a long time, and Jordan has a thing about Hungarians.
Yes.
Some of you may know about my origins. I'm a little partial to the Hungarian people, being one of them. So where do you stand on the great Hungarian notation debate? I know it can get kind of heated among programmers who are very particular about what they name their variable. I mean, I have my own methods, and I'm not necessarily partial to Hungarian notation. I kind of joke about it, but I know Jordan has very strong feelings, being the Hungarian hater that he is. So I'm curious where you are on this debate, Jon.
I don't want to start any fights either. I'm probably more on your side. I did have maybe a little question or a quiz on that topic. So if you had 3 variables, right, all the same, let's say it's called phone number.
Right.
So for people that don't know what Hungarian notation is, if we mentioned or declared a variable as phone number, the word phone number, Jordan would just call it phone number.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably call it lowercase l phone number, and then someone that was really into Hungarian notation would say lowercase lng phone number, right? So that would be a good quiz. I'd like to take a poll on that actually.
So what about you though?
Okay, so I was actually thinking about this. I do use Hungarian notation, and I would typically do a lowercase L phone number. But I was thinking that actually the L and G phone number, the longest one there, would actually maybe be the most efficient if okay, Jordan.
No, I mean, who cares? Nobody agrees with me on this.
I know. If you use the Control Spacebar autofill keyboard shortcut.
Yeah, that's true. That people have pointed out that there is an advantage there. That I just never use that. I always just sort of. Okay. The thing is that I always remember it because they're so memorable. No, I don't know.
I kind of go back and forth personally. When I started programming, I was like, oh, I should use Hungarian notation because so-and-so says you should, and I'm Hungarian after all. And then I just found myself naming my variables like Betty Davis and stuff like that just to amuse myself. And
Betty Davis.
Sort of stopped doing,
Wow.
I'm very much against that. No offense.
I
will say, I have one ally in all this. Bob Phillips doesn't use Hungarian notation.
Okay.
A very, very big friend of the show, huge fan of the show. He doesn't use Hungarian notation.
Okay.
You're building an army, a small.
So we agree. Everybody agrees to disagree.
Yeah.
So it's,
all right.
So speaking of agreeing to disagree, we got one more thing for you, and then we're going to move on to our next section. So one more question from Mr. Chris Newman.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Agreeing to disagree. Option explicit. There's two camps. There's the Jordan Goldmeyer camp, who names his blog after it, worships at the altar of option explicit, loves option explicit. And then there's Bill, who says, God, that's a stupid name for a blog. Why do you even use that? So, are you Team Bill or Team Jordan?
Yeah, I know. I wish it said it on my shirt. I am Team Jordan in this case. Yeah.
Right.
I teach it in the course as, not a requirement, but a strong recommendation for option explicit. So, and I think Bill might be messing with you, Jordan. I think he secretly uses it too. I don't know.
No, he told me his coding is perfect. If it's perfect, you don't need it.
Next up, we're moving on to the Excel topic.
All right. Well. You know what happens when it's game night on Excel TV? It is game night on Excel TV, and we've got two MVPs on our panel tonight. So what I'd like to do is share with you my screen for another exciting round of Wait, Don't Excel Me. We played this game before.
Why am I always on?
Because I couldn't be bothered to take the 2 minutes to change the photo. All right, so we played this game before, but in the past our focus was on the history of Excel. So today we'd like to find out just how well you MVPs and you, Rick, who is an Excel TV MVP, we want to find out how well the three of you know your Excel formulas. So, with that said, the rules of the game are as follows. So just keep it clean, no cheating, and have fun. I say no cheating because I think on our why is my screen? Okay. I say no cheating because I don't want to see you guys behind the scenes, go into the Google machine and try and in fact, the way that these questions are phrased, you don't really have the opportunity to Google anything anyway. So we've taken that into consideration. So what we'll do is we will throw out the clue, and the first person who gets the clue understands which formula I'm trying to communicate can shout it out. So the three of you are free to just jump in. It's anybody's game. Wait, don't Excel me. So I'm thinking of a formula. The name of this game is Name That Formula. I am thinking of a formula, and this question goes out to the entire panel. This is one function that can really bring you down, and it's certainly where you'll find yourself after one too many power pivotinis. What formula am I thinking of? Who said it?
Small.
Small?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm afraid that is not correct.
That's what I was going to guess. That or VLOOKUP.
Rick, do you have... Rick, would you like to try to take this one? It's not small and it's not VLOOKUP, but it is where you will find yourself after one too many power pivotinis.
What, Samuel Adams? No? You don't know the answer?
And we have a unanimous fail on our panel, so we need another sad trombone. The floor function.
Oh, God, that's such a great
Bring
pun.
you down. Get it? See what I did there? Okay, so obviously nobody gets the point. So we'll just move along to the next one. Okay, also in the compatibility, I don't know why this is in compatibility. The compatibility category. So that's the formula category, just another extra little clue there for you. A hardcore Excel nerd will say this one's named after a French mathematician, but to most that just sounds fishy. Nothing. We got nothing. Anything from the audience?
Poisson.
Okay.
Give us a hint.
Poisson.
Another hint.
Poisson?
Statistics.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Who said it?
Rick
Who
got
said
it.
it?
Poisson.
Rick got it.
Yes.
Oh, Poisson distribution.
All right. One point for Rick. Okay, so you guys are keeping track of your own scores.
What is it?
Poisson.
It is.
It's a Poisson distribution.
Oh, man.
If you're modeling things coming at different timing intervals.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Predicting the number of events over a specific time. So it has that little fishy shape. But apparently it was named after a French mathematician named Simeon Denis Poisson. All right, Johnny. Next up so far, it's Rick. Rick's got the whole lot.
Kind of owning the show.
1-0. You're kind of killing it, Rick.
Killing.
Add-ins. John Campora, very embarrassing for you if you miss this one.
Oh, no.
I am thinking of a formula. Single guys won't do much of this anymore, but at least Excel still does when it's looking for a DLL procedure. What's the formula I'm thinking of?
Embed.
Oh.
Is that it?
Oh.
It's embed. Please be embed.
Is that it?
All right. Here's
That's
your
not
other
it?
clue. No.
No, but that's hilarious.
No,
Looking
really?
for a DLL procedure. What? Somebody said it. Did somebody say it? John, did you have a guess?
I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Seriously, we need some single ladies on this panel because they would have known the answer. Call. That's what they don't do anymore since the advent of texting. You see what I did there? Do you guys get how this game is
this
played?
is a VBA function. I thought, okay, I got it. I thought it was like a formula function, which embed would have worked because it does OLE objects. I'm saying, and the pun works. I'll give myself a point for that one.
Well,
the guy who doesn't have 1 point.
Exactly. All right, come on, moving right along. Come on, guys, get it together. MVPs, you're embarrassing yourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this one first. It's easier. All right. If you've got this Excel function, you probably don't have much money because it's always one or the other. It's either money or what we got? Yes! Thank you. All right, Rick.
I was thinking
you just can't have both. It's the time function, right? The time function takes 3 arguments, hour, minute, and second. So, for example, time 12:00 returns 12 p.m. In other words, the 12th hour of the day, because we all know that Excel thinks of a day in terms of, hours, 1 through 24. Every fraction of a day can be calculated with an Excel function. All right.
All you're saying is Rick got 2 points.
I was going to say net present value. I really was going to say that.
Don't overthink these. They're puns. That's really all that the whole point of the game. All right. So we've got another in the date and time category here. All right, this is a clue. Think history. Okay, go back to history class. I'm paraphrasing here, okay? Famous quote. if Excel wasn't really Excel. If Excel lasts for another 1,000 years, men will say, "This is the finest of all Excel functions."
Hours?
Yes! Hour. Who said it for a bonus
Jordan
point?
Wow.
What? Jordan?
I said it.
No, I know you said it, but I meant like bonus point for who can name whose quote. I'm paraphrasing.
Oh, yeah,
there.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was John Acampora who said that.
Yeah.
Close. It was
Forgot
Winston
the last
Churchill, but
I was just mouthing Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill, John Campora. It's so hard to tell the difference sometimes.
One of them was famous, and the other was Churchill. So.
One of them was an MVP, right? So,
Mhm.
okay. All right. We're moving on to math and trigonometry. So fasten your seatbelts.
Oh, wow.
Easy one. Okay. This is what most people think you are when you tell them, "I really, really love Excel."
Single.
Math and trig.
There's no nerd function. Nor is there a loser function, so I don't know.
Okay. Rick, you got anything? Are these just too hard? I can't. If I give another. Okay, let's see.
Natural log.
You're not. Okay. If I say you're not even, then you're probably
Odd.
odd.
Odd?
There you go. Odd.
Okay.
Math and trig. What most people think you are when you tell them you really, really love Excel. You're odd. Okay, but nobody got that. We still have
John
a few
got
more.
it.
Well,
Oh, well, yes, he did. That's true.
I'll take half a
In
point.
the 11th hour. So Rick's got 2 points, and John has 1, and I think Jordan has 1 as well. All right. The Excel TV scorekeepers here are keeping very good track of that. Clue. I am thinking of a formula. You
Sorry,
can easily get this
Tan.
at the beach.
Tan.
Tan.
Oh.
Tan?
Yeah.
Did you say tan, or did you
I think
say...
we both did, and Jordan probably said it first.
Could you spell that, please, Jordan?
T-A-N.
Rick, could you spell that, please?
Oh, maybe it's different. It's T-N. I don't know.
The truth is neither of you get it because it's A-tan.
Oh, no. Arctan. Oh, too bad.
Is there a tan function? Because I guess if there is, then that answer would work too. But I think...
I was thinking Suncoast Tan. No,
Is there a TAN function? Let's look
I don't
that
know.
up now, shall we? Now, will somebody in the audience can correct me.
We'll have,
All right.
we'll have our researchers take a look into it.
Take the researchers, have the researchers look into
Our
this. Okay.
interns.
All right. Moving right along. We are almost at the end of our game here. The clue. We're still in the math and trig category. And speaking of math and trig, this is where this guy does his best Excel work. So you kind of have to know who the guy. I mean,
On the night shift.
Where does he do his best Excel work?
Page.
When you're dancing on the ceiling. Come on. Groan.
No,
Okay.
that's a great one.
Let's go.
I would
Okay.
have never gotten it.
Wow, I didn't know these were going to be so hard. When you're doing the questions, you're like, oh yeah, everybody's going to know that. Okay, last but not least, your trainer, Excel TV guys who may have heard this question before, you're disqualified from answering, but your trainer thinks yours are weak. But this handy formula in the math and trig category will really turn things around. Emphasis added on purpose. Turning things around. Like, any idea? Any ideas going on?
I remember this.
John,
I need to
anything?
watch Excel TV. I don't think there's like a strong function or anything.
John's like, I don't know, because my abs are awesome, so I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, that was the 10th one. So the abs function really don't have anything to do with your abs. Sorry, Ryan Gosling. But they do, the abs function will turn things around, meaning if you have a positive number, ABS will, well, it doesn't really turn it around, but it will turn it around if it's negative. It's the absolute value, right? Get it? Absolute value. So that was our game. I thank you all for your...
Who won?
Yes. So it looks like Rick won that game handily, I might say.
And are we
Congratulations, Rick.
As
our quiz up, you know?
That was like a brain teaser overload.
We'll do that, and as a result, for my championship round, I'll pose for the next abs calendar. Go get you some of that.
For the Excel TV calendar, yes, we are currently casting. So,
next up,
Rick.
thank you for that, Sylvia. Next up, going over to Excel Hot Tips with Jordan Goldmeyer.
So we have this dashboard here that I've called Mr. Dashboard, but you can imagine there's some great measurements here, like, for example, how great option explicit is and why you should always use it. And then down below, I have this worksheet tab that I've named Dashboard. And the reason I've done that is because I'm going to actually do something with this worksheet in the code. So by default, it usually is sheet 1. I've changed it. And then when I want to do something with this in the code, usually I have to do something like reference that worksheet object. So I'll say worksheets. And then I'll put in dashboard, and you can make sure I spell it right. And that's going to expose the worksheet object to. So another way to do it is if I want to use Hungarian notation, you know, I'd create a worksheet object, something like that. But essentially, it's the same concept. I'd have to use worksheets, or I can also use the sheets object. The other way to do it, to reference, or at least get a hold of that object, is I could say sheet 1. And the reason I know that sheet 1 works is if I look over here in my VBA project, I see there's something called dashboard. And to the left of it, it says sheet 1. And this will expose to me the same way all the methods and properties that using the worksheets object and supplying the name would. Now, here's the thing. I don't really like either of these methods. The first one requires you to create a new object and instantiate it and assign a worksheet to it when it's not necessary. And then if I use sheet 1, that doesn't tell me anything about the worksheet object itself. So what I want to do is I want to change this name where it says sheet 1. And the way I can do that is first I need to be able to see the properties. And sometimes this window doesn't appear when you go right into the editor. If not, what you can do is you can go to View. Let's see here. I lost it for a second. What you want to do is you want to make sure you can go to View Properties window. You know when you're talking, sometimes you forget what you're doing. Yeah. So you'll go to View Properties window. I'll show that to you. I'm going to flip it off. Well, I guess it's already on. But yes, the way you would flip it off is you would use it on the Excel spreadsheet, which it would move it off to there. But that's for another time. So basically, I want to change the name. So what I can do is I can look down here, and you see there's actually two name properties. There's this name in parentheses, and then there's this name here. Now, if I change this name in the parentheses, I can say dashboard, like that. And you see that it's updated up here. And now, whenever I want to use it later, I can just type in dashboard, dot, and then I can actually get exposure to those different methods. Now, why would I ever want to do this? Well, what's really cool about it is if I'm in another module or another sheet object or any of these things, I'll just say reset everything. I'm going to make a fake procedure up, and we're going to just use it here. I can say dashboard dot reset everything. You see that it showed up here, and now we see that this is semantically just better and more easily understood than the other method of using worksheets or just saying sheet 1. Now, there's one last thing I want to point out to you where it gets really weird. So if we go back to the properties, you see that we have this name. So the name refers to the caption. So I can change the caption in here if I want. And then we have the parentheses name, and that refers to the actual name. The only thing that's weird about this is this parentheses name. You'd think that this parentheses name would line up to this parentheses dashboard here, but it doesn't. So the name lines up to what's in parentheses, and the thing that is in parentheses lines up to the thing that's not in parentheses. So just remember that. Kind of a bizarre thing, but it is what it is, as they say. So that is my tip. Remember to change that worksheet name, not just the caption, but the actual name, and it makes it a lot easier to use in the code. So John, you had a tip.
Yeah, I have a few things to add to that tip because it's really good. Well, I think that parentheses name is called the code name for this sheet. I don't know if that's real
That's
or I
probably
just
right.
picked that up somewhere. But the other advantage to that method is that you get IntelliSense when you reference it. And maybe, I don't know if you mentioned that, I didn't hear you. But if you type worksheets and then put the name of the actual worksheet in double quotes and hit dot, you don't get the IntelliSense where you do if you use the code name.
Mm-hmm.
Code name.
So yeah, that's a really great tip.
And it also prevents little snafus if your end user changes the sheet name versus if you have the sheet name and like you have sheets and something in quotes. Yeah, so
exactly. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Yes, I have a module about that in the course.
We'll move on to the what's up section. So what's happening in your neck of the woods? So a few things. First off, over here at the Office blogs, they have some pretty good how-to here on the histogram, the Pareto inbox, and the whisper charts. So these are some new graphs that have come out with the most recent version of Excel. So this is one thing you ought to go over and check out. This is at blogs.office.com. Just came out, gosh, a week and a half or so ago, maybe about 2 weeks or so ago. Next up is a course to bring to your attention. There's a course over here at MicrosoftVirtualAcademy.com. It's an entire course on analyzing and visualizing data in Excel. So you can just take this course right here online. So I recommend you go over and check this out as well. Next up is Jon Acampora. Gosh, if you come over here to Excel.tv and you come over here to Season 2, episode, Season 2, you'll see the Jon Campora episode. So this is actually what's going on right now. The reason I bring this to your attention is you can come down here to the bottom, and you'll see a lot of people have already left quite a few comments for Jon. There's already kind of 8 or so comments down here where people are leaving comments, and you can see Jon is jumping in and responding to those. So I'd encourage you, if you have some questions for Jon, a VBA Pro, and just released his course, to go out there and just check out this episode. You can rewatch this entire episode and interact with Jon here. The last thing to bring to your attention is Mr. Excel Campus himself. Where you can find him is over here at excelcampus.com. So I'd encourage you to come over here and see Jon. Smiling face there, always wearing a blue shirt. It's kind of weird, but it's always blue. So I don't know why that is. Okay, Mr. Blue Shirt Jon there. Nice shaved neck. Well, good job. And if you come down here, you'll see a lot of the reasons that people were asking things about his, the products that he creates. Is you'll see there's quite a few of them just down here at the bottom. And this is those products that he created just because he got tired of saying, I hate it when. And so those are there. But you can also sign up for his course here. He helped me learn Excel VBA. And you come down here to courses, the VBA Pro Course. And there's an opportunity right there to come and take a look at it. So I'd recommend you come over here, you hit the play button, you sign up, and get access to the free training videos. So that is it for me for the Excel news. I'd like to pass it over to Jon. I believe you have some news as well.
Well, I have 2 things. First of all, I needed to publicly thank Sylvia because this book right here is awesome, and she put my name in it with one of my VLOOKUP tips. So if you don't have this yet, check it out. Learn a lot about Excel and Excel cocktails. So I don't know if you guys have seen that, but thank you.
Yes, Jon Campora, the best VLOOKUP analogy ever. It's great for people who think they've never done VLOOKUP, so I love it. The coffee shop analogy is great. We've all done VLOOKUPs in our brain when we go to the coffee shop and go drink, 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 price, 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 price. It's great. Use it all the time. Thank you for that.
No, thank you. And beyond that, it's an amazing book, and Jordan's jokes will make you laugh. So
ROFL.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the other exciting news is I would like to give away a membership to the VBA Pro Course. So, yeah. So it's this $300 value, and I'd like to give one away. And basically,
Sorry, wrong sound effect. Sorry.
No, it worked.
That was supposed to be a gasp from the audience, not like that.
Oh, is that it?
Sorry.
Right.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I keep it.
I was looking around for Jaws.
Yeah, so to enter, all you have to do is leave a comment on that page that Rick just showed. Just leave a comment there with a task, an Excel task that you find boring and that you want to automate, or an Excel task that you have automated. So some boring report that you might do, sales report, whatever it is, something you either want to automate or have automated. Just leave a quick comment there, put your name and email address in there, and leave a comment and to enter, and then we'll choose a winner. I think Jordan has some cool random winner picker lottery system that we can use. Yeah, I've seen that before.
It's a large wheel, and I have to write everyone's name down every time, and then I spin it, and it gets really weird. There's some occult stuff to it, but it always picks a winner. So
maybe we could automate it somehow.
You know, that's true. We could just use Excel. Isn't there? There's a random feature. I think.
I mean, I don't want to take you away from your arts and crafts time. You know, that's gets you away from your spreadsheet. You know,
nerds are running amok here on Excel TV.
Yeah.
Sorry
Big
about
time.
it. So, also, I believe Jordan, you had some news as well.
Yeah, I have some unexpected news. Unexpected because over the last several years, I never thought it was going to be possible. But remember, there's this book that I said I was going to write, and then I actually wrote it. So let me show you. This book, Dashboards for Excel, it's actually coming out. So you may remember that it was like 3 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the best book in the world. And it still is the best book in the world. Let me rephrase that. But I really did not think it was going to take this long. But it's 3 years. It's been 3 years. It's done. It's 500-some pages. And Chandu has contributed several chapters on Power Pivot, so we updated with the times. And you know, I'm biased, but I think it's a good book. I think that you will like it. The tentative release date my publisher has set is September 15th. Of course, they haven't updated on here because they're still working a few details out, but it is probably going to be released this month, if not sooner. The entire manuscript is in.
Yay.
It is all ready to go. So some of you may have some questions about how does this book differ from Advanced Excel Essentials, my other book, which is also out, which you should also consider getting, but I'll tell you some of the big differences. So this Dashboards book got so big that we decided that there was another book within it, and we took out 8 chapters, and that became Advanced Excel Essentials. So there is a small amount of overlap, but if you were interested in Advanced Excel Essentials, then just consider Dashboards a second edition. Twice the material, 200 more pages of great, hilarious Excel jokes and awesome development techniques. Very much a manifesto for me. A lot of the stuff that I've called together over years of doing dashboards and really just Excel development. So there's a lot to learn there. Even if you don't build dashboards, there's still plenty of things that you can reuse and do for your Excel applications. So it's an intermediate book, most for people who are familiar with Excel, but I think it's going to be a good one.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
All that plus Jan.
That's right. Plus Chandu. In fact, it's just Chandu. That's why you should buy it.
Congrats, Jordan.
Thank you.
Because hopefully that'll be out by our next episode. That's awesome news.
Yeah, it would be great.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So John, thank you so much for joining the show. Here's where you can find us. Excel TV. We're everywhere. I did show you where you could find us on Excel TV. You can find the John Acampora episode there. You can leave comments there, and he'll interact with you there. But also, John, where can people find you outside of that? Where can people find you around the web?
Well, excelcampus.com is the best place. That homepage that Rick showed, there's a big green button there for newsletter sign up, and that's the best place to find me and reach me. Just sign up for the newsletter. I'll send you free Excel tips every week, and I read all the email replies that I get and try to respond to all of them. So that's the best way to connect with me. Of course, I'm also on social media, but I think that's the best spot. And my YouTube channel as well. I have a YouTube channel with a bunch of video tutorials on there as well. So those are the best spots.
Yeah, you're very active on Twitter where you finally followed us today, so thank you for that.
I'm the worst. I'm not even going to try and say follow me on Facebook because I don't know. I'm bad at that, you know.
Me
Just
too.
go to excelcampus.com.
Me too. I was joking with you today, you know, when I tweeted that.
Oh, were
But
you?
thank you for the follow.
Yeah, likewise.
So John, thank you so much for joining us. You know, it's great to see what you're doing, not only on the Excel side. So when we talked with you last year, you were starting to build products and you were starting to get, you know, quite a few. I think the Pace Buddy you had just released at the time, so there were quite a few products you were getting out there. And to now see you move into training and finding ways to help people at an even higher level, and being part of your list as well. Gosh, I think you have probably, if I had to guess, 10,000 or so people probably following your list. And by list, I mean people who are signing up for your newsletter, signing up to hear from you every single week, and being on that newsletter list as well and getting those, just the quality of information that you're sending out and the tips that you're sending out, just highly graphical. So you're really doing a big service out there. So thank you for that, for being part of the show. Thank
you. I really appreciate that, Rick. Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. Next, what's it, 54, I can add. I want to be on episode 54 if possible, every 20.
Episode 54 it is?
Well, okay. I won't hold you to it, but yeah.
Fair enough. Episode 54, no, we're holding you to it. Episode 54.
Oh, great. Well, I'll get a better microphone. If you couldn't hear me, I'm really sorry. You know.
Don't worry, it's all good. Yeah, you'll sell enough of those training courses. You just get yourself a cool microphone.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. But hey, next episode, gosh, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we're supposed to have Jordan. Do you mind sharing who might be here next week?
It might be Michael Alexander. It just might be. It just might be.
Data pig!
It just might be Michael Alexander. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's the word on the street. But, you know, we're still in negotiations with his agent, so we'll keep y'all posted.
Come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
So join us in 2 weeks. That'll be on Tuesday, September, I think the 15th. So join us then. We will see you then. That will close out our quarter at that time. So join us then. That will be Tuesday, September 15th. Hopefully Michael Alexander, Mr. Data Pig himself. But until that time, this is Rick Grantham with Sylvia Uhas and Jordan Goldmeyer reminding you to keep on excelling. We'll see you.